Bonjour à tous et bienvenue pour cette interview pré-conférence avec John Gastaferro. John Gastaferro qui est avec nous en direct de Los Angeles. Il prend quelques minutes pour vous parler de la conférence à venir. Vous allez pouvoir découvrir cet artiste qui ne résume pas son art uniquement à la magie. Vous allez le voir, il y a toute une philosophie de construction, de réflexion, d'élaboration autour de ce qu'il fait. Et c'est un honneur pour nous de l'avoir en conférence. Mesdames et messieurs, John Gastaferro. Bonjour John!
It's great to be here. And by the way, I just want to say I've been to France many times, and I think the last time was in 2017, where I did a lecture tour across Europe. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to our virtual lecture and sharing some of my favorite material and some new material as well.
I will ask you a first question. John, could you share with us initially what drew you into the magic world?
Yeah, I got into magic about 7 years old. I don't know if people remember Doug Henning, but I remember back in the day, this is before David Copperfield, but he would have his TV specials. And but I remember distinctly, he would do things on stage, illusions on stage, which I thought were fun and whimsical. But there's one particular trick where he just made a nickel disappear, and it was just pure magic. I mean, I was just drawn to the screen and close up magic. And I learned later that it was John Cornelius's effect. I think it's called a fickle nickel. But at the time, it still looks like pure magic. But anyways, that particular trick around the age of 7. Yeah, and then one other thing I'll add to that is like my mom raised me by herself. So it's just my mom and I. Um, my dad wasn't around. I didn't have any siblings either. So just the two of us. I was just always drawn to anything creative, music, art, and magic. And I also remember finding a deck of cards that she had. Before she had me, she was a flight attendant on an airline, and she had saved a deck of cards from Western Airlines that was sitting in our apartment for so long. And I remember picking that up and buying Royal Road Card Magic and everything else, and kind of kept learning from there.
Okay, so you already almost answered my next question. I want you to ask you who have been your biggest influences in magic and why?
Sure. Well, it's not in magic, but I'd say my mom really just anything I want to do creative, she sparked that in me. But in particular, magicians, um, Paul Harris and
Paul
Jay
Harris.
Sankey from a very creative level.
Yeah.
Um, um, David Regal, a big influence from both creativity and scripting. John Bannon from simplistic methods and just smart structure. Um, God, the list probably goes on, but those are the few that really come to mind. And I'm so honored. Like, David Regal is among my best friends in magic, and we still uh, have our Zoom sessions all the time. But John Bannon as well, and several other magicians. But yeah, those are a few that come to mind.
Okay. Okay, thank you for answering this question. Um, I would like to talk with you about philosophy and style of magic. How would you describe your philosophy towards magic and performances?
Sure, thanks for asking that. Yeah, I think my brand of magic is, as most magicians know, that I gravitate toward card magic. I think there's
Yeah.
something beautiful about card magic and doing so much with something so simple, right? And there's a historic significance to cards. They go back many, many, centuries. So I always hold the cards with the honor they deserve, right? So I have a light touch in terms of my performing style, very comfortable. Um, the methods are not like knuckle busting, so not too easy, but not too hard. So I think there's a sweet spot that most of my material is within the realm of the intermediate magician. Um, and beyond that, I focus on creative plots and just really streamlined methods. So I draw from daily experiences on getting plots and presentations that people can really relate to. And then I like to trim away all the fat, keep it direct and entertaining and elegant. So.
I would like to talk about these lectures. It's in less than 10 days, the moment that we record this interview. Um, can you tease a couple of themes or topic you will be discussing with us?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, beyond the tricks, I'll be continuing the idea of 1 degree. Uh, I don't know how to say it in French. I know my book is translated in French. It's like un
All right.
degré,
Un degré
Bleu.
de plus, je crois, oui.
In the bleu. So it's amazing to even have my book in French. But I'll talk about the 1 degree philosophy for those who know it, and for those who don't know it, you'll learn a little bit more. But it's all small little changes, small 1 degree changes that we can make that have a big impact. So I'll be demonstrating examples of that. I'll be showing a few of my favorite card effects from my last few books, en route and 1 degree. Also, a few new tricks that are going to be in my upcoming book, called The Nth Degree. It's coming out. It's at the printer, so I don't know. It could be as soon as by the end of the year or early next year. But I'm excited about that book. So I'll demonstrate a few effects from the new book. Some of them are like brand new, and some of them are improvements on a trick that you already may know. And I've added a 1 degree change, and it's like, oh, that it changes. It changes so much. So yeah, but we'll be doing everything from some some new hands-off ace productions and things you could do with the aces once they're produced. My favorite sandwich routine that has an amazing kicker. My favorite multiple selection routine, and you'll learn that it's more than that. It's more of a multiple mind reading trick, and you'll understand a little bit why that's important to change the premise. Sometimes it makes it a whole new experience for the audience. So yeah, those are a few things you'll see.
That's almost very, very big things you're sharing with us. So we can't wait to see your lecture. John, thank you very much for the time you took for this interview. I would like to ask you any last word or advice you'd like to share with us as we're waiting for your lecture.
Yeah, thank you for that. I am driven by purpose in my life. So magic is a big part of it, but it's not the only part. A little bit about me. I have a day job that focuses on nonprofit work and philanthropy, and really making a difference in people's lives. And I've learned over the years that there's room for both magic and philanthropy and music and art to be all guided to one common purpose. So my purpose is to connect people to the extraordinary through all I do. So any words of advice I have for anybody out there, it's like, focus on all the things you love, including magic, but everything else, and start thinking about what is the bigger purpose. Why do I get up in the morning? What really drives me? And I think if you start thinking about that, you realize that magic, you'll understand, you'll have more clarity about why magic is an important part of your life. And it's often more than just entertaining people. You're often driven toward a greater purpose. So anyway, that might seem a little ethereal up here in terms of the way, but that's the way I think, and that's what drives me every day. I just want to connect people to the extraordinary. So yeah, some words of advice there. So I'll talk a little bit more about that, and how we could use the 1 degree philosophy, not just in our card magic, but in life as well. So I think it'll be an inspiring lecture in many ways. So Jeremy, thank you so much for the interview and for gearing up. It's less than less than 2 weeks away. From this point on, we're doing the interview, and so I look forward to seeing everybody virtually and demonstrating and taking some questions as well. We'll have some dialogue too. It'll be fun.
That's perfect. Thank you very much, John. Have a nice day.
All right, thanks, Jeremy. All right.
Okay.